Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you all for coming here today. I see many happy faces, many friends. But before we start, let's listen to a brief welcome speech of the Regional Governor of Central Macedonia, Mr. Apostolos Didikostas, who unfortunately cannot be here with us today. I would like the video to play, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, welcome to Central Macedonia, the best region to live in, the best place to film your projects. During the last 3 years, since the establishment of the Film Office of the Region of Central Macedonia, the first regional film office in Greece, we have attracted global audiovisual productions of excellent quality and big budgets, with many Hollywood producers, directors and actors who voted for our region and met their next shooting location in Central Macedonia. Today I'm very pleased to welcome you to our Film Offices event at Agora, the Thessaloniki Film Festival's annual meeting of audiovisual professionals, and to invite you to meet the locations, that is, to explore, together with our special guest speakers, the endless choices of the public locations that Central Macedonia offers for films and TV projects of all genres. So I would like to proudly present to you the first location guide for Central Macedonia, which has just been published some days ago. Our guide is the result of a unique one-year-round location scouting journey with the scope to capture the most fascinating locations of all 7 regional units of Central Macedonia that have been photographed from a cinematic point of view for the very first time. When we set the foundations for the Film Office of the Region of Central Macedonia, our main objective was to establish a networking service between the production companies and the audiovisual professionals in an international level in order to best facilitate, on the one side, all stakeholders involved in all stages of filming, and, on the other side, to promote our region worldwide as a unique filming destination. To this end, we were the first to organize a location scouting fam trip in our region, an initiative coordinated by our Film Office with the support of the Hellenic Film Commission and the participation of distinguished Greek location managers. These film professionals are here today with us to share their experiences of this trip and, of course, to discuss more about the locations that they explored. So today, we extend our open invitation to all audiovisual professionals to come and shoot their next projects in Central Macedonia. We strongly believe that Central Macedonia is the best region to film your projects, the best place to start your story. Thank you.
And we move on. Let me say a few things about the talk. Dear participants, dear guests, dear friends, dear cinema lovers. I'm Angeliki Milonaki, Head of Film Office-Central Macedonia, and I would like to welcome you all at our event in Agora. I would like to thank the Thessaloniki International Film Festival and the Agora team, Mrs. Alado, Mr. Andredakis, Mrs. Vergu and their team for including us at Agora Talks. I would also like to address my special thanks to the Greek Film Center and the Hellenic Film Commission, the General Director, Mrs. Kartalou, the President of the Board, Mr. Holevas, the Hellenic Film Commission's Director, Mrs. Maria Koufopoulou, and their wonderful team, Stavroula Geronimaki and Georgia Pina. Thank you for being with us today, for their warmly support at our initiative of the Location Scouting Familiarization Trip in Central Macedonia, and for their presence here today at our event. Allow me to address our special thanks to our distinguished guests, the Greek film professionals from the location department who accepted our invitation to follow us in the very first FAM trip in Central Macedonia, which ended up just today. And they are here with us to share their experiences and discuss more on the locations they explored. And of course, I would like to thank you all for your presence at our event, colleagues from other film offices and many, many friends. Today's event is divided into 2 parts. In the first part, we will announce the official launch of the Film Office's new promotional campaign that is under the slogan Meet Your Next Shooting Location in Central Macedonia, with a scope to establish the region as an attractive filming destination for audiovisual productions in Greece and abroad. We will present you the Film Office-Central Macedonian's location guide, the year-round location scouting in our region, which resulted in a location guide, as well as our very first FAM trip, which was addressed to Greek location managers and coordinators. The second part of the event will be a Q&A discussion about our location scouting FAM trip in Central Macedonia, where all participants, with the participation of the Hellenic Film Commission's director, Mrs. Maria Koufopoulou, and Georgia Pina, who followed us during the FAM trip, and we thank you for that, will share their views on the initiative and the places they discovered. So let me begin first with my presentation regarding the first location guide, a location guide for the region of Central Macedonia. This is the cover. It is one of our most essential tools to introduce to all audiovisual professionals, both domestic and global, the advantages of filming their projects in our region. Our location guide has a very focused and clear perspective, that of a location scout, who sees our region, Central Macedonia, as a fascinating studio for various projects of all genres, for shootings 365 days a year, with the easy access to multiple locations in a single day. Our location guide is a result of a year-round location scouting in Central Macedonia, for which Mrs. Rula Chotra from Media World Productions, the company that conducted this effort, will explain more in her presentation later on. The location guide of Central Macedonia highlights a selection of ideal filming locations throughout our region, which can be found all around the 7 regional units of Central Macedonia, that is in Imathia, in Kilkis, in Pella, in Pieria, in Ceres, Chalkidiki, and of course in Thessaloniki. Let's see our proposed locations. Our proposed categories are in 11 thematic basic categories, which include the following types of location. We have urban and suburban landscapes. I chose a little sample of a selection of photos. This is in Thessaloniki. This is the base of the region of Central Macedonia, Villa Latini. As you can see, the guide proposes a selection of the most characteristic urban as well as suburban landscapes, just to have we had a chance to visit them in our location farm trip, and we will discuss more. We have, of course, nature landscapes, because Central Macedonia is a region full of nature beauties. That is mountains, forests, lakes, waterfalls, meadows, plains, wetlands, which can serve as ideal places for filming. I don't know if I ran it too quickly, but this is a very nice landscape of Salines. We pass to seascapes. Seascapes is a separate category in our location guide in order to showcase the variety of this kind of location in our region. As you can see here, Salines, marinas, emerald green waters and caves, tropical beaches, etc. We have heritage sites. Central Macedonia is a region extremely rich in heritage sites, as historic places, as churches, monasteries, cemeteries, cathedral, archaeological sites, as well as monuments and ancient ruins. Of course, villages, because one can easily find beautiful traditional stone-built villages in Central Macedonia, very easily accessible from the main road network and not far from the city center, which is an advantage in filming. And abandoned. Abandoned, apart from the nature and the cultural beauties, in Central Macedonia, one can find many strange and surreal abandoned places, such as ruins, old and unused factories, warehouses, old mills, etc., which can easily be transformed into promising film sets. Then we have castles and bridges, another type of location in which Central Macedonia offers many choices of historical as well as of architectural value. Rural and countryside, that is old villages and country roads, farms, dirt roads. This is a very famous landscape. Here is the amazing landscape of trees blossoming in the plain of Imathia, near the city of Veria. In Imathia, you can see it during the spring. Industrial locations, a very powerful location type in our guide, as many cities in Central Macedonia can provide a lot of industrial backgrounds. One of the most famous among them is, of course, the port of Thessaloniki, where we're situated here today, and the warehouses. We can see train stations in our location guide, together with industrial locations. Another asset in our location guide is, I think, train stations. One can find modern as well as old or abandoned train stations throughout the region. Last but not least in our location guides are the substitute location. That is the locations which can easily be transformed to other real-life places and replace them successfully on screen. Here we have the example of the wetlands in Axios River, near Axios River, the delta of Axios. We had a successful example of the Enforcer film directed by Richard Hughes with Antonio Banderas, which was shot entirely in Thessaloniki in the summer of 2021. In this film, Thessaloniki and its surroundings were used to substitute for Miami, USA. So don't hesitate to contact us at the Film Office-Central Macedonia to learn more on our stunning locations. And don't forget to meet your next shooting location in Central Macedonia. Thank you. I would like now to pass the floor to Mrs. Rula Chotra, who will speak for how the Media World Company did the location scouting in Central Macedonia. The floor is yours, Rula.
Thank you, Mrs. Milonaki, for introducing me. In my turn, I would like to greet all of you and to those who participated at the farm trip. We were delighted to meet you, and that we are glad that we had the opportunity to show you some samples of movie destinations here in region of Central Macedonia. I hope your experience was as interesting as ours. History has shown significant examples of movies that the location of their filming has a particular impact on the plot and the storytelling. I could refer, for example, to Saving Private Ryan, that the location managers Gladstone and Hicks chose Ireland to depict the landing operations of the Second World War in Normandy. Also, in the movie Dallas Buyers Club, with location manager Leonard Reynolds, that mostly due to financial difficulties, proposed that it was filmed in New Orleans. The region of Central Macedonia is a filming destination that is remaining available for all year long with an abundance of different landscapes, as Mrs. Milonaki has previously explained. And also, I could say that there are much more cinematic categories combined with extraordinary seasonal changes and seasonal phenomena. We are very proud of the abundance of location that we can found in Central Macedonia and of the work we have done scouting them. The production has achieved with the exceptional help of the director George Signosoglu, an associate of Media World since 1989, in cooperation with the producer Aris Kotronis and director of photography Tassos Kikidis. I would like to say that a big advantage of the polymorphy and variety of filming locations is that all of them are close in proximity and easy to access, but also approachable in terms of accommodation, catering, and staff transportation. Even in remote areas like abandoned villages, there is possibility of electricity supply. Famous war and historical movies have been filmed in some of them. For the remote areas, it is possible to rent generators or use alternative energy sources. Media World has been implementing the green filming protocol for 3 years now, using solar power supply systems for the needs of productions. Even the most challenging scouting and filming can be achieved easier in cooperation with Film Office and us. We have worked for major production companies proposing locations for the Enforcer, the Bricklayer, among others. In the website of Film Office, you can find aerial photos from drones and ground photos for a variety of locations. The possibilities of filming in the region of Central Macedonia are limitless and the natural scenes endless. So, I have to say, meet your next shooting location here in Central Macedonia. Thank you.
Allow me now to introduce you to the presentation of Mrs. Dionysia Arvanitou, who is sitting next to me. Dionysia is a production support advisor and project coordinator in the Film Office-Central Macedonia. And her presentation is about the location scouting farm trip in Central Macedonia, which ended up just this noon. So it's a brand new, a fresh product. And Dionysia is going to say to us more, to explain more.
Thank you.
We are very happy to be here today to talk about our work for our first familiarization trip. From now on, we will say it FAM. for easier. It is our first FAM trip for audiovisual professionals, specifically location managers, which we hope was not a typical one or the last. Rather, this experience will be a useful tool for all location managers that shoot or wish to shoot in our region, which we will give them the necessary guidance to find locations, people, services, and that they are looking for. A lot of time and effort goes into choosing the right guests for the trip. We invited the key decision makers at high-end production companies from overseas and show them the very best they have to offer as a filming destination. Inviting these key individuals and giving them a personalized guided tour showcasing facilities, locations, and crew in the hope of landing a feature film or long-running TV show is something that makes sense. Guests from all over the country were invited to explore the riches of Central Macedonia. The particular 4-day FAM trip itinerary included visits to 7 regional units of Region of Central Macedonia. On the first day, we started from Kilkis and then to Ceres. Along the region, you find so many different spots, from the depths of the underground river Aliakmonas and the lakes in Kilkis and Ceres to soaring above forests, farmland, castles and forts. Central Macedonia offers an amazingly diverse selection of unique locations. And the acres of period industrial location, factories repurposed as cutting-edge hotels, streets with early 20th century apartment buildings, and all these past centuries make the sense of history, and wander around every corner was daunting. Sorry for this.
We feel very emotional today.
Sorry.
And we're also a little bit tired, so forgive us for reading and being a little bit. You have to encourage us to be more active.
Thank you. Ευχαριστώ, Παναγιώτη. The second day visited the regional units of Imathia and Pella. We get a chance to be with the location manager up close and personal. We have the opportunity to share our work, discuss it in detail and answer questions with this very specific and targeted group of people. A lot of our business is based on developing personal relationships and trips like that offer networking opportunities, as well as the slightly more formal showcase session that allow us to really get to understand the needs of our visitors. On the third day, visited the regional units of Thessaloniki and Pieria. This familiarization trip was a comprehensive scout of the Central Macedonia, as far as selling itself as a production destination. I insist that there's no substitute for personally putting eyes on what a facility looks like, what actual locations are going to provide you, meeting with professionals and talking to them that you might be engaged with. As a participant said to me during the trip, there's nothing like being on the ground, meeting the people, seeing the space, and knowing what is available. On the fourth and last day, we visited the regional units of Thessaloniki and Chalkidiki. Of course, even 4 days were not enough to show all the possibilities of region in the location department, but we are optimistic that this was only the beginning. And in the future, we will be able to highlight all the hidden, interesting details and treasures of our area. The itineraries allow them to explore facilities and location throughout the region. This underpins every aspect of the trip, including our guests' domestic travel, accommodation, and meals. We were aiming at inviting to Central Macedonia professionals who are collaborating with big and medium-sized film companies in Greece, but who are also involved in productions that can be adapted to Central Macedonia location and production conditions. For the end, I left something that we are very proud of as a film office. The farm trip action was green, and also this event. We designed and organized the farm trip and event today to be environmentally friendly. Everything chosen from paper, fuel, food is sustainable and environmentally friendly because we promote sustainable working practices and we want to be a part of the creation of a sustainable audiovisual industry. We support sustainable solutions and we want to participate in any way we can in saving our planet because this is our home. So thank you in personal to our collaborators, George, Rula, Tassos and Sofia to make this dream happen. Thank you personally the location managers to join to our first farm trip. Panagiotis, Thanasis, Maria, Gina, Yannis and Konstantinos. Thank you so much to be here and join in our effort to develop the film office and the film industry in Central Macedonia in general. Georgia from Hellenic Film Commission, thank you for your support and collaboration. We believe that we are stronger together and that only together Central Macedonia will make the difference and become an international hub for the audiovisual sector. Our aim is to make Central Macedonia one of the best environments for filmmakers, and we are working hard to keep developing our region's creative talent, our technical expertise, encourage investment in state-of-the-art infrastructure. Thank you so much.
So now that we presented everything, we'll feel more relaxed, more happy, and more comfortable to share with you the video, which is the official launch of our campaign, of our promotional campaign for all this work, which has been done during the last 2 years regarding our locations library, our location guide, and the scouting in Central Macedonia. So our promotional campaign has the name Meet Your Next Shooting Location in Central Macedonia, with a scope, as we explained, to establish our region as an attractive filming destination for audiovisual productions in Greece and abroad. And of course, the farm trip had the very same purpose. And in the second part of this event, we will find out if it succeeded or not, or how it went, and what can be done to make another farm trip even better. But let's watch the video together, a promotional video. So let's move on to the more active part, the discussion. And please let me introduce you to our special guests. We have the team, the participants of the location department. I will say their names. They said to me that only the names are enough. Maria Repusi is a location coordinator. Maria is with us today. Gina Pavlopoulou, a location manager. Panagiotis Lazarakos, a location manager. Και εμείς. Κωνσταντίνος Κουκούλης, location manager. Γιάννης Σωτηρόπουλος and Θανάσης Θαλασσινός, location manager. Last but not least, Georgia Pina from the Hellenic Film Commission who accompanied us through the location scouting, and of course Maria Koufopoulou, the director of the Hellenic Film Commission, who is here with us today, and she's going to help us. She's very expert at discussion, so let's start. I have many questions. I prepared many questions, but I would prefer to be a Q&A. So I will start from the timing of the FAM trip. The FAM trip began just 4 days ago. It began on the 4th of November. Because our initial scope was to kind of connect it with the film festival. So it would be a more convenient time for film professionals to come, attend, and maybe combine it to the activities of the festival itself. I don't know if it was a right choice or not, so I would like to ask you, the participants, if you find it was scheduled at a suitable time of the year, or would you prefer our farm trip to be arranged in another time? If so, why? Who would like to answer first? Κωνσταντίνο.
Hello. Thanks a lot, first of all. Yeah, δούμε. Thanks. Now, thanks a lot for inviting us. Thanks a lot for taking the risk of trying to showing locations without a script to all of us as well. We are glad to be here. We are glad to be part of that farm trip. I don't really think that the time of the year doesn't really count in this kind of actions, in this kind of events. But it was a nice opportunity to be quite close to the festival. That's always a reason to be around Thessaloniki. And as well is a good period of time to doing during the winter, as most of the time the productions are less active, let's say. Yanni, do you want to add something?
Okay. Thank you for having us here. So for every professional, depends on the work in each case they have. But it's a good opportunity always to meet the profession, so I think it's a good choice to have the FAM trip around the festival, either in the beginning or in the end.
Okay, ladies and Panagiotis, maybe they have something to add or different?
Perfect. I think that we all agree it's a great chance that we are here and the festival is here. We had the chance to visit a lot of locations, and it's great that we can talk more about it with other professionals that are here for the festival. So for me it was perfect.
Okay, as far now as duration is concerned, do you find the duration of the FAM trip satisfying? Was it enough? Was it long? How did you find it? And who would like to...
Λίνα, εγώ θα επιλέξω να μιλήσω στα ελληνικά, οπότε θα με βοηθήσεις σε αυτό να μεταφράσεις. Στην προηγούμενη ερώτηση θέλω να προσθέσω επίσης ότι σαν εργαλείο, που είναι αυτό, ήταν η κατάλληλη περίοδος εδώ που ήρθαμε, αλλά και για να φωτογραφηθεί, διότι είναι ή φθινόπωρο ή άνοιξη, όπου είναι μια ενδιάμεση εποχή ανάμεσα στο χειμώνα και τον καλοκαίρι, που έχουν μια τελείως διαφορετική οπτική το περιβάλλον.
Panayotis says that the timing was right because in the autumn, as now we're during the autumn or during spring, it's a nice time to photograph the locations. It's a very different period of the year. It's not the same. The locations are not the same. They don't look like the same as they are in the winter or in the summer.
Όσον αφορά τώρα στην ερώτηση για τη διάρκεια, θεωρώ ότι ήταν μια χαρά. Θα μπορούσε να ήταν περισσότερες μέρες με λιγότερες ώρες. Αυτό για να εντυπωθούν πιο πολύ τα location σε εμάς και να μην είναι ένα director scout που κάνουμε συνήθως τη δουλειά μας εμείς από το πρωί μέχρι το βράδυ. Αυτό.
Panayotis says it was pretty okay, the duration. It could be more days. We could add more days, but with less locations, so that the professionals would have more time to photograph them, to visit them, to wander around them, and to feel their look more effectively.
Κάποιος άλλος?
Hi from me as well. I'm not going to say much more than what Panayotis said. I also think that the duration was good and we had the time to be exposed to a variety of locations, though daily it could be a little bit shorter, so as to have the time to maybe do other activities rather than just sightseeing, let's say, and scouting, and also have some more time between us to have some dialogue and digest and talk about what we've seen.
Διότι είναι μέσα στην περίοδο του φεστιβάλ, γι' αυτό. Να έχουμε χρόνο.
Yes, the timing is an advantage as well as a disadvantage because it can give you more time for the festival activities, so you need to balance it a little bit.
Maybe
Panayotis suggests that it would be a little bit earlier than the festival or a little bit later than the festival, so one could combine better the two activities.
I would like to add also that in one of the days of the farm trip, depending on how many days it will be, it could be organized to meet who's in charge of the various services of the public sector, like municipalities, the prefecture, etc. So we will be informed on the workflow of the permits and licenses, and exchange, what we need and what can be done for the permits to be issued more quickly, and other problems that we need to discuss.
I would like to reply about this. We didn't have the chance we didn't have the objective to do this at the very first farm trip because it was an introducing one. It was an introduction for us. But the next step would be, as I was discussing with you during the farm trip, that the best thing to do is to promote synergies. And to promote synergies, you need to know the people in charge. And of course, you need to meet the locals. And that's why it's very essential for us to have such opportunities such as farm trips or networking events, to meet the people, to discuss about what they need, and be out of the usual professional schedule, so that we can have more free time or more creative time to discuss about that. So I agree with you that it's a necessary step, and we would very much taken into consideration.
Πάνω σε αυτό που είπε ο Γιάννης, και το λέει αυτό πολύ σωστά, διότι θέλω να προσθέσω ότι εδώ πέρα για πρώτη φορά έχουμε έρθει με μια διπλή ιδιότητα και του scouter και του location manager, που εγώ προσωπικά θεωρώ ότι μπορεί να διακριθούν κιόλας στα πρόσωπα αυτά.
Panayotis says that it could be more detailed because all film professionals, or most of them, have come with their double professional identity, both as scouters and location managers, which of course are two discrete categories of the location department.
Αυτό.
Okay.
Να προσθέσω κάτι.
Lina, what is really happening is that I really can't recommend enough this kind of initiatives. It's a must for us to having some time. It's not a free time for us, it's a job, of course. And going around in different places to get some ideas of possibly shooting locations in the future. And I think it's a good idea for other film offices once right now.
Other film offices are around us, sorry to interrupt.
Us, yes. Once is the time for this industry right now to grow. And I think it's a must for other film offices to take similar initiatives and spend some days here and there. It doesn't really count if we're gonna see a lot of locations. What it really counts is to meet local people, to feel a little bit, the places and the locations, because nevertheless, everybody during a shooting wants to have fun, so sometimes you have to try local food or good wines, etc. But it's not about having fun, it's about feeling comfortable during the shooting. And this is the way that you're gonna visit it and visit again, and you're gonna choose some places because, you feel better there. So I think it's time for more scouting, and it's time for the film offices to grow as well.
Yes, I totally agree with you, because I think the presence of the Hellenic Film Commission here today and the presence of our colleagues of the other film offices is a positive step forward, because they think that now it's the time for them to follow the initiative and to organize such trips and to be creative together, as Dionysia said, and to make more synergies. And I would like to thank them very much for the Epirus Film Office, the Ionian Film Office, the Athens Film Office, who are here with us today, and they honor us with their presence here. Maria Koufopoulou would like to add a few things. Please feel free to open the discussion.
Yeah,
I'll just give some hints.
Yes, hi, I'm Maria Koufopoulou. I'm coming from the Hellenic Film Commission of the Greek Film Center. I should suggest, first of all, to send Dionysia for a 24 hours nap home. And then you follow him here with, I don't know, a less in duration nap. Secondly, I want to congratulate you for the initiative, and I have to admit that through your video I rediscovered my homeland, because I'm coming from Thessaloniki. So I've seen places I have never seen before. And I was thinking that this has been a really good practice that other film offices, and I'm sure they're willing to, but they are not really taking the decisions, as you know, should follow. And just noting what Yannis said before, I would like to just refer to our Greek colleagues and announce that tomorrow, training day, We organized a training day under the title "The Public Sector Goes to the Cinema," which has to do with all this relation between the public sector and the filming. And Thanasis is one of our panelists. He's hiding this, so you do not start questions.
All the panelists are hiding.
So I would love to listen more from the people of the business about what was missing. And I had some thoughts watching this video. It was, what does a location mean? I remember once a friend, years ago, a location manager, he was really very nervous because he told me, I'm looking for a round stair, wooden, 13 floors, let's say, for a perspective with the camera. So, is this a location thing, item, issue for you? Is it only the landscape or whatever comes with the landscape? Is it people? Because I missed the presence of people everywhere when we're talking about locations. I just drop, thoughts in the pot. And does a location sometimes inspire the storyteller? Does the storyteller or the producer has a location in her mind just to go and shoot there? And how can we offer the best for him, her? So, thank you.
If I may, I would add another. I would reverse the question, and I would add another question. Is there a special location that you met during this farm trip that you feel inspired? Because Maria mentioned about the inspiration of a location and the feeling, the touch of the location, and the script, the story that it can hide beneath. And is there a special location during the farm trip which attracted your attention and in which you would like to return with a project? I would also add this question to your thoughts. And I would like to give the floor to the managers.
Well, I just wanted to answer to your question. What's a location? A location could be, yes, but a location is whatever could be included in the imagination of a scriptwriter, which means everything. Now, what my colleagues, from what we talked these days between us, they wanted also to see things that are production friendly, for example. I know that this was a trip that you made, and thank you for the invitation first and then for the trip, that was introducing, first of all, the beauty or how many things a location manager or a producer could visit, could use to put in his film. But there are other also things that we will discuss with our kind ladies that we have here in the film office. And I hope that this will end in a communication bridge between our colleagues all over the country, and it will open another gate of information that we can provide to them. I mean, this is a future thing that I'm thinking. I hope, and I know that
course,
you already...
this was introductory because we have to put ourselves in the map and to show where we are,
it was
what we
very
have.
well targeted, very well spotted. Okay, I know that. And of course, in 4 days...
And of course, you're local.
It's, the other thing is that I was the only one that I was born and grown here. So for me, it was another kind of view. I visited these places. I went to these places when I was at elementary school. You know, it's my place. But the only thing that I would suggest is that I hope that this thing will be endless. Okay, I hope that before we do the next, we sit down together and we think a lot. We exchange informations, demands, all this stuff. This is the only thing I have to say, except of thanking you very much for inviting us. It was marvelous. And also for the hospitality, the production company. Nobody talked about them. Okay, that's it.
I just want to make a remark regarding what Ms. Koufopoulou asked, that the profession of the location manager has also an artistic side. So we might be a member of the crew, but in reality, we kind of translate what the director and the creative team want to create and translate it and try to find it and make it happen. So it was very useful that we came here and we have a knowledge of the variety of things that exist in the area, because having it in mind, reading a script, it might come to the mind an image, a location, a staircase maybe. So in this sense, it's very useful. This is how we work also with locations, scouting and script, combining all this in order to meet the expectations of the director.
As I said, we now introduce the locations. Now we need the stories for those locations to flourish and to be more creative for the professional as well as for us.
Yeah, maybe a fun trip with screenwriters would be an idea.
Nice idea.
Or producers.
Yes, Angela would you like to say something? Yes, of course. Angela Krokidi from Ionian Film Office, the head of the Ionian Film Office. Thank you for being with us.
Okay, hello everybody.
From Corfu?
Yes, I will. Definitely. Okay, it's so nice to be here again this year. Thank you very much for the invitation. I find this idea excellent, although it might come into a bit of a difficulty in my region, because as you know, we are an island region, so we would probably have to do some island hopping, which would take more than 4 days, I guess. Or find some other way.
It might be thematic, or they don't mind.
we might have to take you on a cruise of sorts. I don't know, Yanis was in Corfu in the summer, so he might come up with some ideas on this. Okay, so I find it an excellent idea. Okay, not in terms of familiarizing the location people with the territory, the actual locations, but vice versa as well. Okay, it would mean a lot to familiarize the locals, the local community with the people that run the productions, the professionals, so that it would then be easier to create a cinema-friendly community, which is really, I think, the essence of our job.
Of course, and this is, I think, this is a never-ending story and a never-ending discussion, and it's a good opportunity that we will have. We will discuss tomorrow about the film offices going to the public.
Yeah, because
public.
As somebody said, it has to do with like the vibes that you get in a place.
Yes,
how
the mingling with the locals.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Would you like to add something? Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Anna Felicescu-Telnicu. I am originally from Moldova, but I live in Berlin, and here I'm in a residence, a collaboration between Median Board and the Thessaloniki International Film Festival. And I'm the first resident working on my script. And I come now because what is the location actually? I have a new script, a new story, a new movie, and it's called Transit Times, and it was planned to be shot in Ukraine, in Odessa and in Ismail. And for me, in my story, the locations are real protagonists. So are real characters, protagonists, and really very important. So imagine that because of these locations that I lost, because the war started, I need now to rewrite and to rethink all the script. And this is basically what I'm doing here. I'm reading the script and trying to imagine completely another locations in another country, even here. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
We could be
Romania,
of
Moldova.
service.
You know, it's really like, and it's very beautiful because you create a filmic space completely new through the camera, and there are really a big creative potential. So I congratulate to this initiative. It's really wonderful what you have here. It's
thank you very much.
It's very inspirational.
Thank you
so
for your
keep on
contribution to the
keep on
discussion.
doing. Yes,
You
and
should come to our film office and discuss.
yes, sure, with pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're waiting for you. Yes, we're waiting for you.
So I would like to, I think we have 5 more minutes. No? Less? Okay. Let's talk and conclude, I think, with the professional networking, because everybody discussed about professional networking. So I would like a last proposal or a last conclusion on your part of every one of you. Regarding this FAM trip, did you find opportunities for professional networking during this FAM trip? It is my first question. And then how would you evaluate the Film Office as far as this effort is concerned? Did you find the Film Office-Central Macedonia's services useful towards this direction of location scouting and location management in general? We have 2 or 3 minutes. Mari.
Hi again. Okay, it was a great chance for us because normally you can find us all together in one place. So it was great for us to be here and meet each other, better discuss. So yeah, it was great networking. We met you. Unfortunately, you know, busy days, we didn't have the chance to, you know, talk more about it with the rest of our colleagues that are here in Thessaloniki. But we will do it later on. It's a great start, as you said, a great initiative. Let's keep doing that. It's great to talk more about it and add things. Let's start discussing more about it. It's a great start.
In touch and
It's on the beginning.
Παναγιώτη.
Ναι. Επίσης, αυτό που θα ήθελα εγώ να προσθέσω και αυτά που λέμε ο καθένας μας ξεχωριστά είναι, πιστεύω, όλων μας, γιατί έχουμε κάτι συζητάμε κάθε μέρα γενικά, είναι ότι μιας και είμαστε εδώ και θέλουμε να μιλήσουμε για να γίνει το επόμενο καλύτερα και καλύτερα, θα μπορούσαν να προσθεθούν κάποια locations, τα οποία γνωρίζουμε εμείς ότι όταν κάνεις γύρισμα στην Ήπεθρο ζητούνται, πέρα από αυτά τα γενικά. Ας πούμε, όπως παλιά Μεζινάδικα.
Let me translate for the YouTube channel because yes, Panagiotis suggests that we might add some types of locations which are needed for which are essential for specific needs of production, such as old gas stations, which were not included during this FAM trip.
Silo, of course. Old cafe.
Mines, yes. Old, how would I describe? Wait.
Τι άλλο θα μπορούσε που συζητάγαμε?
Abandoned. Everybody thought that abandoned hospitals, abandoned factories, abandoned buildings, abandoned warehouses.
Και εννοείται περισσότερο υλικό από την πόλη της Θεσσαλονίκης, διότι είναι μια πραγματικά πολύ ωραία πόλη και έχει κτίρια, ειδικά του μοντέρνου κινήματος, πάρα πολλά, τα οποία δεν έχει και η Αθήνα τόσο πολλά.
And Panagiotis would like more from the city of Thessaloniki, and because it has a more modern face to offer than Athens.
For me, as a closer for this conversation, I'd like to say that the FAM trip did sparkle, let's say, my curiosity in further researching and visiting. One part of our job, apart from first having a look at the locations, is, of course, spending more time. As an introductory, it was a really nice experience. And I'm gonna agree with Panayotis. I think that we could have seen, or in the future we could see more locations. It could be more specialized, but as an introduction, it was really wonderful.
And if we have a minute, the lady at the back would like to add something. And then
Μπορώ να μιλήσω στα ελληνικά.
Ναι,
καλησπέρα. Εμείς ερχόμαστε, εγώ και οι συνεργάτες μου, από το Αίγυο, από τη Βόρεια Πελοπόννησο.
From North Peloponnese.
Ήρθαμε για να γνωριστούμε, για να πάρουμε γνώση από αυτή την πολύ ωραία συνάντηση και άλλες που έχουμε δει ότι θα κάνετε αύριο, και να παρακολουθήσουμε και μέρος του φεστιβάλ. Εξάλλου λατρεύουμε τη Θεσσαλονίκη, είναι πανέμορφη και έχουμε να θυμηθούμε πολλά όλοι μας, και εγώ που είμαι μεγαλύτερη, αλλά και οι συνεργάτες μου. Θέλω να σας συγχαρώ για όλο αυτό που κάνετε και θέλω να πω ότι ήρθαμε για να, κατά κάποιο τρόπο, να σας μοιάσουμε, να πάρουμε κι εμείς τη γνώση από σας, να κάνουμε επαφές με τους location manager που είναι εδώ, να μάθουμε ίσως και άλλους, και η συζήτηση αυτή απόψε που ήταν για μένα πάρα πολύ χρήσιμη, γιατί δεν έχω πολύ μεγάλη σχέση, αγαπάω τον κινηματογράφο αλλά δεν είμαι ειδική σε αυτό, είναι ότι όταν βλέπεις ένα έργο υπάρχουν 1000 ωραίες εικόνες μέσα σε αυτό το έργο, 1000 πολύ όμορφες εικόνες. Είναι όμως λίγες αυτές οι εικόνες που σε αναστατώνουν, που σου δίνουν και σου φέρνουν πάνω το συναίσθημα, και αυτή η εικόνα σου γίνεται και ιστορία και φαντασία και έμπνευση. Οπότε νομίζω ότι σε κάθε τόπο πρέπει να ψάχνουμε και αυτό. Και βέβαια εγώ δεν είναι ότι μπορώ να πω κάτι και να προσθέσω κάτι, γιατί εσείς έχετε την απόλυτη γνώση. Εκείνο που θέλω να πω είναι ότι επίσης το δέσιμο των εικόνων με το ανθρώπινο υλικό είναι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό, γιατί αυτό δίνει τη δύναμη της ιστορίας, και με πολύ μεγάλη χαρά θα σας υποδεχτούμε στην Αιγιάλια, στο Αίγυο, στην προσπάθεια που κάνουμε εμείς. Σας συγχαίρω όλους και σας ευχαριστώ πολύ για την μεγάλη αυτή ευκαιρία που μας δίνετε απόψε. Συγχαρητήρια στην περιφέρειά σας που κάνατε αυτή τη δουλειά. Σας ευχαριστώ.
I will not try to translate, of course. I will say a few things. More congratulations to the Film Office, and that we have to have a soul for this thing. And many people would like to have synergies like the synergies presented today as far as locations are concerned, and of course the touch with the people and the collaborations between them. So I would like to thank you all for being here today, and thank you.